Kickstarter has for a long time been a factory for pumping out ideas for promising looking games. Problem is, an unhealthy number of those ideas never actually panned out. And now with yet another crowdfunded project in real trouble, we have to ask, is Kickstarter more of a kickstopper?
You did the news at the sound and it's like dun 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 dun.
Mike Williams for CBS News.
Turn-based tactical JRPG Unsung Story enjoyed a wave of positive energy when its Kickstarter campaign launched back in January 2014. With video game veteran Yatsumi Matsuno attached to the project, well known for his work in the tactical role-playing genre, it attracted $660,000 in crowdfunding pledges. The game was supposed to be released in July 2015 but was delayed to October 2016 thanks to a period of financial crunch. It hit further delays in February 2016 when developer Playdeck revealed they'd put Unsung Story on hold because of a lack of resources. Why? The devs actually took on other projects in a bid to sort out their finances. Now, that troubled development has come to its logical conclusion. In other words, the studio has abandoned the project completely and passed on all rights, responsibilities and development to another studio, Little Orbit.
So what does this actually mean for everyone who put their money down and backed this game? Well, someone is still working on it. Someone is going to bring those patient backers a turn-based tactical JRPG called Unsung Story eventually. But just who that someone is well, I'll tell you what. I'll just tell you the titles of some of their previous games. Barbie and Her Sisters, Puppy Rescue. Kung Fu Panda, Showdown of Legendary Legends. Monster High, New Ghoul in School. Penguins of Madagascar. I guess what I'm saying here is they're not exactly well known for their turn-based tactical JRPGs.
They're all solid games, huh? I don't know what you're talking about.
They've just been plucked by, out of a pool of anyone who's willing to step forward and work on it, by the sounds of it. They've got the money to fund it, possibly, they're willing to lay down some of their own finances on this. I really can't see how this is going to pan out too well, because not only is Matsuno not involved anymore, the studio he'd left everything with, they've gone as well, so they've passed it on to another studio, so this is like third-hand vision passing on now. So the creative vision has just been filtered through too many filters. I don't know where this leaves the backers. Hopefully they get something.
How can they ever fulfill what was originally promised on this Kickstarter? You've invested in a certain vision by a certain guy, a certain team, and that's, like Mike said, it's been passed down to somebody else. They can never ever fulfill what they originally promised. So all those people, all those backers of the original vision, the original aim, surely they should get money back. That's the way I would think about it. This is not why I invested in. This is a third-party developer that's just jumped in and they're developing this project. You can see why this has happened though. They originally planned it for a 15-16 month development period and they budgeted $660,000 for it. Obviously, they under budgeted and they ran out of money. They needed extra time to make the game, so they needed more money. So they were struggling to find more money. What it looks like is that Little Orbit now have jumped in and kind of provided that money needed to complete the game. They're going to finish it themselves, but the end result is it's not going to be what was originally promised. I mean, maybe we're laughing at them because of all the shitty games that they've made in the past. Maybe they're not shit.
But definitely.
They're probably shit. They're probably shit. Maybe they're the saviors. Like all those people who might have just lost their money and never received this game. Maybe they were here jumping in with their resources, saying we've got the cash and we've got the development team to finish this game. Maybe it's them to thank that this game wasn't just like left on a pile and never completed.
They're not the bad guys in this, certainly not. I mean, they've just kind of stepped in the very worst. They've gone, yeah, we'll do that. Fans of Final Fantasy Tactics and Vagrant Story and whatever that Matsuno's worked on in the past put their money down to the tune of $500,000, and what they've had is 2-3 years worth of delays, and now it's not even going to be the thing that I backed in the first place. So it's quite difficult to see how it's going to pan out, but hopefully, I just want them to have something at the very least.
Playdeck broke the news to backers in an update on their Kickstarter page this week, thanking everybody for supporting the project and assuring fans that Unsung Story will eventually get released. Here's some of what they wrote. Through the trials we have had as a company over the last few years, Playdeck has strived to keep the project alive, as we believe in the game and the story that Yatsumi Matsuno designed to set it in. Effective immediately, publisher developer Little Orbit has taken over all the rights and assets to Unsung Story from Playdeck and is now without the project creator. Though we are sorry that we are unable to complete it for you, we believe the project is in good hands with people who have the same passion for the game.
So where does this leave Kickstarter? Well, Unsung Story may yet turn out to be a great game, but its actual release seems further away than ever now. Even so, this is a project that gained more than $500,000. They went through all kinds of development troubles and delays. The big name attached to it, Matsuno, is no longer involved as far as we know, and the whole thing has been passed on to an unproven studio with little to no experience in the genre. It's not a good look for Kickstarter, I'll be honest. According to a recent mid-year status report on Kickstarter from the intelligence company, whatever that is, ICO Partners, the video game market on the site has not grown at all, while tabletop and board games have exploded in popularity. So far in 2017, the total pledged for successful video game projects was some $9.4 million. That's compared to $19.8 million. That's compared to $19.8 million during the same period in 2015. Why isn't crowdfunding for video games growing the same way as it is for tabletop gaming, which has raised almost $70 million so far this year, compared to roughly $50 million in the same period last year? So the numbers for tabletop, not only are they like factor of 10 bigger than they are for video games, it's actually growing as well. Has there been as many flops in tabletop gaming? It's easier to execute and deliver on a board game than it is of video games.
Tabletop gaming, it's just a piece of cardboard with some cards and some dice. And
all you've got to do is be creative and execute it. You can do it with a very small team. It's
exactly. One person could generate a tabletop game, whereas you need a whole team at least for a digital game.
One big thing that's happened here is Matsuno left. It's quite hazy on the details as to whether or not he's fully involved in it at this point. We don't really know what's going on with it. The problem is investing in personalities, which is a big topic as far as Kickstarter goes. You think, oh, he made this game before, so yeah, he's going to make another great game surely. So I'll give him my $20, my $30, my $40. I'll trust him with my money. It's not the way it works. It's just not the way it works. Those games that they made for you back 10, 15 years ago, they were part of a big company. They were part of a bigger project. They're not the same person. They're not the same person anymore. And the thing with Mighty Number 9 proves that in and of itself. That is a lesson that needs to be learned and shared, and that might have been what's happened. That's why Kickstarter for gaming maybe isn't as big as it is for tabletop gaming.
It'll only take one time if you're getting burnt and not getting delivered on your promise of a game back in a Kickstarter to think twice next time, and that shows that maybe that's why the amount of investment in Kickstarter games last year to this year has gone down so much, probably because people invested in Mighty Number 9 and they got burnt, and there's many other games that didn't fulfill their promises. We must note that there still are some success stories in Kickstarter,
of course.
Pillars of Eternity 2 was
that was Fig, I think, wasn't it? Was that
was
right?
That's
on
Fig.
Fig. But it's crowdfunding, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's more to the point. I think that we're saying Kickstarter here, but it doesn't really matter. The principle of crowdfunding is the same regardless of the platform. There are nuances and stuff in it. But if you've been burnt on Kickstarter, why would you be like, okay, well this is Fig, this is totally different, I'll put all my money down here? It's kind of has a knock-on effect on all various, even things like early access where you're kind of jumping in early. Like it might just make you hesitant to do things like that if you've been burnt. Pillars of Eternity 2 on that, it was amazing. Like it's $1 million or something like that in a ridiculous amount of time. A space of a day or a couple of days, and then because Pillars of Eternity 1 was also crowdfunded, and that was fantastic. That was a very good game. One of Jake's favourites, doesn't shut up about it. So there are success stories there for sure, but I kind of feel like they get drowned out by the flops, because the flops are so big.
Yeah.
Has got a lot of responsibility.
I didn't want to say I veered away from that.
I'm not saying it's bad.
Should we bleep out the words so
Okay.
that every time we say it, beep, because otherwise we will get lynched if we even go near that.
I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and then we'll decide if we're going to censor it. Depending on which way this goes over the next few years, and you can't say it's been a success already because it's still in the works. It's not finished yet. Whatever happens with Star Citizen is going to have an effect on the rest of it. We'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. It'll affect the rest of the crowdfunding market.
So how do you feel about Kickstarter and crowdfunding for games in general? Let us know down in the comments below. Like the video if you've enjoyed it. Check out some more of our content on the screen around about here. You can support us on Patreon if you're awesome, around about there on the screen. And we'll see you again in the next video. Until then, bye for now.